Hello and welcome to another Dragonstorm Studios video. And today we're going to be drawing Shockwave, who is a Transformer. I'm going to be drawing him from the movie franchise, the Bayverse version, and we're going to be drawing him pretty much all the way through, step by step. I haven't done one of these videos in a while. Up until recently, I've been doing a lot of videos that had to do with specific things, like drawing tree bark or drawing lightsabers. So here I wanted to go back to the roots of the channel, which was to draw something actually from start to finish, which I guess I haven't done in a while. So Shockwave is one of my favorite characters growing up. He is one of those individuals who in the cartoon, which was what I was first exposed to before even the toys, he had such a cool design. The fact that he had this kind of cyclops look to him was really unique among the Transformers. And even the fact that he turned into a space gun as opposed to Megatron, who turned into something more of a traditional handgun like you'd find here on Earth. He was just so unique and portrayed as a scientist, which I thought was really cool. Like he was this scientist that didn't actually do much in the show itself, but he was always this threat on Cybertron, which I thought was really cool. So we're going to draw him here today. And when I draw a robot, I usually try and spend a little bit of time on the head first, because the head really, like you look at the head first when you're a viewer. You tend to gravitate toward that visual, and we're programmed as humans to do that. And if I'm happy with the way that turns out, and so far so good here, then I can start working on the body. And the body's gonna be very, very rough. I want him looking down on us like we're these puny little humans who have just gotten his attention. And unlike in the movie, he is not going to go down like a pathetic, terrible creature who's taken out by these soldiers in a very anticlimactic way. We're going to make him just this force to be reckoned with, tour de force, maybe even. And I'm actually working off of an image here. However, I'm going to be doing my best to change it up to make it a bit more my own. But I wanted to get started with an image to look at because there are a lot of details. And I think this is the one, I don't want to say problem, but the one thing about the Bayverse Transformers, which are intimidating for a lot of people, is that there's a lot of detail there. So we're going to talk a bit about some of the ways of getting around those details and making it a bit easier to tackle these sorts of creations. So we're going to have one arm kind of coming down here, and then he's going to be holding up his gun arm. And again, I love this design because they really took into effect a lot of details, like the tubing that comes down from the gun arm to, I assume, is a power pack of some sort. And just all these wonderful little details. We're just going to kind of block out some spaces for these details. And you've got this gigantic cannon for an arm here, which I assume would make it really difficult to be a scientist. But, you know, they didn't address that in the show. And I'm sure he's got little robots to help him with all the pipettes and other things he has to deal with as a scientist. And we're going to have him gesturing imperiously towards us, as if he's warning us that he's going to be taking us out. Maybe a bit more towards us there. He's pointing down at us, so it'll be kind of coming down like this. There's his index finger, and then his other making a fist over here. And again, I'm going to worry about all of these details a little later. There's the shoulder, there's his arm, and you'll notice that it actually looks, I mean, it's almost like you're setting up the drawing of a human to start off with. Because robots are humanoid, excuse me, I think that makes a lot of sense. So we'll start with that, and then we'll see what we can do to make that really look more robotic. But to start off with, it does have a human kind of look to it because he is a humanoid after all. All right, in the second phase, I've just added some definition to my lines. So the first phase looks really rough. It's very, very human. And the second phase, to get more robotic, we just start adding more elements to it. So phase 3 really is all about adding that light and dark as mentioned. And this is where I think it really starts to look good, where the magic really begins to happen. So I've zoomed in a little bit so you can see a bit better. And all I'm really doing here is I'm focusing on the areas which aren't standing out, not these major sort of shapes. And I'm just darkening in around them as if there's areas within the armor. And I'm not darkening them in completely. I'm leaving hints as if there's little bits and pieces that are just in gray, but stand out because of the dark around them. And it just makes it look as if you've got some internal machinery at work there, doing its thing, very subtle, but still creating this illusion of depth. It's kind of like when if you've ever seen an old clock and you kind of looked inside it a little bit, you can see hints of what's there without actually seeing all of the detail in the gears. And just having hints of things being within the outer layer of armor gives it that sense of robotness, I guess, if that's a word I can use to describe that. So it's very much just random shapes. They are very linear, and that I think is important to create that almost like circuitry look to it. Very similar to what Jack Kirby would have done in his work. And with more and more of that light, dark, and grayscale, it's really starting to come together. And just scroll back like 3 minutes in the video and just see how unimpressive it looked just about, well, 2.5, 3 minutes ago compared to where it is now. And it's all really about that light and dark. It makes such a big difference, especially in that in a drawing of a robot. So all of that work is really paying off nicely, and it's starting to really look like Shockwave from the movies. So there is Shockwave in all of his majesty. You'll notice I made his head a little bit smaller. I tend to do that, unfortunately, in all my figures, human, robot alike, make the heads too big. And because I press a little too hard, it's not racing very well. So I might just add a background to finish up that picture and to hide the mistakes there. But I hope you found that helpful. I hope you found that interesting, and maybe you can try that technique out where you just kind of focus on the light, dark, and medium tones in order to ensure that you get those beautiful metallic effects in your robots. So thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like the video, share it if you think that other people would enjoy it. And if you enjoy the content of this channel, please consider subscribing. It'd be a huge help to me. Thanks so much for watching, and have a fantastic day.